Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this vital presentation on how to obtain a PENCOM Compliance Certificate in Nigeria. This session is for business owners, HR professionals, procurement officers, and consultants engaged in public contracting. The certificate is a legal requirement for any organization doing business with the federal government of Nigeria. It is issued by the National Pension Commission, or PENCOM for short, to confirm that an employer is compliant with the Pension Reform Act of 2014. All applications must now be made entirely online. PENCOM no longer accepts manual applications. Let's dive into what the certificate is and why it is essential. Okay, the first thing that we have to address is the issue of understanding what a PENCOM Compliance Certificate is all about. Okay, the PENCOM Compliance Certificate, also called the Pension Clearance Certificate, is a document that confirms your company has complied with the contributory pension scheme. It is a mandatory documentation that organizations participating in federal government contracts or projects must obtain. The certificate proves that the company has been remitting pension contributions as required under the pension laws of Nigeria. Note, even if you obtain it middle of the year, it is only valid until 31st December of that same year and must be renewed annually. Okay, we'll now move over to who should apply. If your company has 3 or more employees, you are mandated to register under the pension scheme and obtain the compliance certificate. This applies to private companies, NGOs, schools, and hospitals. Any entity seeking to do business with the government is expected to apply and obtain these compliance certificates. Startups or small companies planning to work on public infrastructure must ensure they obtain the compliance certificates early, because if you start early, the remittances that you have to make will not accumulate, so that it will not become a burden, financial burden to you when you want to make the application. That's if you are planning to grow or work with the government in any way. This certificate is a must-have. Okay, let's now take a careful look of the core requirement for the application. Okay, to apply, you must have these following documents. Firstly, you must have evidence of regular pension contribution to your employee's retirement savings account over the last 12 months. Then secondly, very important, you must have a valid group life insurance certificate as required under Section 4, Subsection 5 of the Pension Reform Act. Then thirdly, you must put together a list of all employees, including their full names, salaries, and then their RSA pins. Then you must have your company tin slip handy, ready to be uploaded. Then the last but not the least, you have to make sure all employee records are accurate and match what's been filed with the pension fund administrator. If there is any discrepancy with regards to what you have with the pension fund administrator with what you are presenting to the PENCOM Commission, then there will now be an issue. Your application will be queried. Okay, let's now take a quick look at the online application process, how you can be able to navigate the online process in order for you to successfully make an application for a PENCOM Compliance Certificate. The process is now completely online. Initially, you can complete the process at the PENCOM office, but right now you must visit compliance.pencom.gov.ng. If it's your first time, you create an employer account using your TIN and contact email. Then you log in to access the dashboard. Fill out the online application form and upload all the required documents that I have mentioned earlier. Very important, you have to ensure your uploads are clear PDFs and that file size comply with the site's limits. Because if you don't submit upload files that comply with the site limit, then it will not be acceptable. Then once you have done that, you will now be able to track your status online, and once approved, you will now download your certificate from your dashboard. Then from the processing time and validity. Once submitted, PENCOM typically takes between 5 to 15 working days to review your application. The processing time may be longer if your documents are incorrect or incomplete. So it's very important that you look at the document that you are submitting to make sure that they are correct documents and also they are complete. Even if your certificate is approved in July, take note, it expires on December 31st. So you must start early, the following year, so that you will have ample opportunity to make use of the compliance certificate. To avoid a delay, consider submitting your renewal form early November each year, so that before you can be able to now put together all the other documentations, you will now get your compliance certificate as early as January, so that you will now put it to the proper use for which you have made the application. Okay, we'll now take a quick look at common mistakes and how you can be able to avoid it, because some of these mistakes will now cause the application to take unnecessary time, which will not be good for you, because most people need it for contract purpose. In the process of you looking out for how you can be able to get the compliance certificate, you might lose out in very juicy contracts that might change your business life. So let's now take a look at some common mistakes that you will have to look out for, so that you will not fall victim of it. Okay, the most common errors include incomplete pension remittance schedule. Very important. You must capture all the necessary information with regards to your remittance, so that there won't be any issue. And another thing is wrong RSA pins that don't match employee PFA. So you have to make sure that the RSA pins matches the PFA. Then submitting an expired or invalid insurance policy. Very, very, very wrong. You must ensure that your group life that you are submitting is the current one. So that you won't have issue. You meet an insurance consultant, so that can be able to help you sort out your group life insurance issue, so that you can submit the exact document that is needed in order for you to successfully complete the application and obtain your compliance certificate. Then lastly, late submission, especially close to government contract deadlines. Most people, they will wait till there is a contract knocking on the door before they now start looking for how to short circuit the process, which is not good. Most of the time you will see that you will not be able to meet up with the deadline, and in the process you will miss out in very juicy opportunities that would have changed your business life. So it's very important that you start the process early, so that last minute rush, because most people will also want to submit late. So it's not only you, so there will now be backlog of documents, or before them, backlog of application for them to scrutinize, for them to review. So in such a situation, it would now be very, very dicey for yours to be picked out of the volume of application that everyone who is rushing in order for them to meet the deadline. It's not supposed to be so. You're supposed to make your application on time, so that they will have an ample opportunity to treat it without you having to go the extra mile to get your application sorted out. So as a regulatory consultant, I advise all employers to maintain a compliance calendar to track all legal obligations ahead of time. Once you have a compliance calendar and you have put in a mechanism in place that can help you in order to remind you, because you can have the calendar and still forget, but it's very important for you to have a reminder that will remind you that, okay, it's time for me to get this thing done. So once you have that, you will see that you will not fall victim of late submission and deadline rush, which is not good for business. Then we'll now take a look at the cost and professional fee. Okay, there is no direct application fee. However, there are indirect costs. Pension contribution is the contribution is the employer is expected to make 10% of the contribution, while the employee will make 8%. So it's a minimum of 18% of both the employer and the employee. Then for group life insurance, it's usually 1.5% or 3% of the total annual payroll. And also administrative time for HR account and compliance team. Those are some of the charges that may come up. And many companies also engage professional consultants. For instance, our firm will charge between the sum of 100,000 to 250,000 naira, though it depends on the company size and urgency. Those are the two key factors that might affect the price that is on your screen. Okay, to conclude, it's very important you start early to avoid last minute stress and delays. Very, very important. It's not even limited to PENCOM application. It also applies to all other regulatory documentation. You just have to start early in order to eliminate stress and delay. And also you have to keep your HR and finance records up to date, so that there won't be any mix-up with regards to your remittances and also your salary structuring. Then you check that your insurance certificate is renewed in time, so that it won't be a hindering factor that will become a clog on the wheel of your success in making the application. Then you have to, very important, if you don't want complications, you have to use professional consultants for smoother and fast processing. If you use someone who has gone through the road several times, it will be faster and much more efficient than you that is taking the path for the very first time. A PENCOM Compliance Certificate is not just a document. It is a strategic asset that gives your business access to high-value government contracts. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, feel free to reach out. We'll be able to take care of it. Okay, for personalized consultations, further guidance, and additional resources on how you can obtain a PENCOM Compliance Certificate in Nigeria, you can visit our website to access detailed guides, case studies, and expert insights designed to keep you informed of the latest regulatory updates and best practices. You can partner with us to leverage our deep industry knowledge and take the next step towards successfully applying and obtaining your PENCOM Compliance Certificate in Nigeria. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to download this presentation for your reference. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more valuable content such as this one. Thank you.